I'm Michael Gervina, and for my craft, I decided to do cross stitch. So this is the final product I've done. It's an Iron Man, and this took about, let's say, 20 to 24 hours total. So cross stitch is a form of it's a popular form of embroidery, which you take X-shaped stitches and thread them into tiled raster-like patterns to form a picture. I chose this craft because I've never done it before, and I thought it would be interesting to learn. I enjoyed working with my hands and building things, so I thought doing this might add to my craft. So learning the craft itself was pretty straightforward. I learned some of the basic half stitch to full cross stitch on some YouTube videos. So this is a few of the cross stitch patterns. Okay, so welcome to cross stitching for beginners, and I am a beginner. So you have the single thread here going onto a single hole coming from the back. So in order to start a cross stitch, what you do is you get from point one, which you start from the back. You start from the back, and you put the needle go through. And then from there, you go to the opposite end. So, okay, you start from this hole, and you go all the way and push it in to there, which I'm going to do right now. Alright, now what we want to do is complete the X. We went from here to there. Now from behind, we're going to put the needle through this side, and then come over from here to there. Then go from here again, through out here, and then go out until you finish the whole side that we did. From the back, all you just want to do is go from the bottom here. You want to go to the top. Go to the other side. There it is. Nice and slow. And then just put it down there. There you go. That's an X. Cross stitch. In the beginning, the craft was pretty easy to get, and I noticed the longer I was doing it, it was getting harder, and I was getting tired and fatigued. I was fatiguing faster. So I learned I did a rookie move, which in a single, this is called the DMZ embroidery floss or thread. In a single strand or thread, there's usually 6 individual strands linked up together. The rookie move I did was I used all 6. So usually cross stitchers, they use 2 or 3. I end up using 6 at the beginning of my activity or beginning of my craft. I soon learned, and from at least 1/4 of the way, I went all the way and just used 2 to 3 threads. The other rookie move I made was I chose a pattern, Iron Man, and it was a pretty difficult pattern to do as a beginner for me. So, cross stitch is pretty simple. You just need the proper materials. You'll need the DMZ embroidery needle. You'll need embroidery scissors, or regular scissors will do. DMZ embroidery floss. These are marked with specific numbers for specific colors. So depending on what pattern or what color you want, it's pretty organized when you go to the store. The next thing you might want to have is embroidery frame or loop. What this does, it holds the fabric, the cross stitch fabric, in place, and it creates equal tension around the frame. So when you're puncturing the fabric with a needle, it's a lot easier than when it has less tension around the fabric. So here's a little timeline of the process of my cross stitch from the face, to the eyes, to the body, all the way to the arms, and completing the rest of the torso. As you can see, I kind of drew in some of the boxes and to help me design or to help me cross put stitches on certain areas. So the challenging steps that I've encountered while completing the craft was the first challenge was as I was in the middle of a cross stitch or on a pattern. The challenging part was when I run out of thread. I'm at the I'm at a cross stitch and I have, let's say, just probably half an inch left going through. And for me, I have a hard time because I don't have small fingers where I can make a small knot on it. So I would have to undo the stitch to make it a little longer, make a double knot, and then cut that, and then put a new thread in and continue from there. The second challenge I encountered was that as I was doing my cross stitch, the string itself or the thread, they tend to knot in the middle for some reason, even though they're okay. For a while, when you keep going in and out, these things just likes to knot themselves up, and I encountered like a lot of knots, which took a lot of my time as well to untangle them. So, what the project final project means to me is that this project became something meaningful to me because I've added something new to my arsenal and a new skill for myself. Finishing the project gave me a sense of satisfaction and joy, and new gift ideas for Christmas, birthdays, and something that's I think will be people would appreciate because it's you made it for them. And so this activity can benefit people who are hospitalized, who is in hospitalization, who is in bed rest, but still has upper body extremity. So people who's recovering can keep busy. They can do the embroidery while they're in bed, and it'll keep mental focus on them. Work with their fine motor skills, and it can benefit the elderly who is at home doing nothing and needs an activity to consume time. It's a fast pastime that it's very calming, and I notice it keeps once you're doing it, you don't notice the time going by. It's like I can start at 7 o'clock and I look at the time, it's 11 o'clock already. That's especially when you enjoy the pattern that you're doing, you get into it. So this activity can be adapted for a variety of ages or abilities from materials being used. So if it's a child trying to learn how to cross stitch, there are fabrics out there that have bigger spacing for the holes because the holes right here are pretty tiny. So there's other fabrics out there that's a little bit more spaced out, so it might be easier for a child or someone who has weak fine motor skills, so they can able to, so they'll be able to place the needle through the hole, or they have larger needles and larger thread. A person with poor visual acuity can use a magnifying glass, a stationary magnifying glass, which I've seen where they have a little stand and then it'll just be right here in front of them, and they can look through it while they can try to find the hole and go in. So this is how my project looks completed. So as you can see the different coloring and shading of the thread and the black going around in every design. So it was a lot easier when the pattern or the color was the same for a bulk for a big portion of the space. It was difficult when it was changing from one color to another color to another color to another color. That part was challenging because I would have to either knot it, put the needle another, and use another needle and put a new thread in and keep going until that one stopped, and then I do another one, and so on and so on. So I hope you enjoyed this video and my final product of a cross stitch pattern that I've decided to do, which is Iron Man. Thank you for watching.